What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mark Show. We're back here to discuss now. We did the 30, not the 30 for 30, we did the Bulls documentary. So we're back here to now discuss the 30 for 30 Lance Armstrong documentary, which was pretty interesting. This is some pretty good stuff here going on. And so I have my friend, Tisha. He's was part of the Live Strong Foundation for a very long time. So he's met Lance. He's been a part of Live Strong and everything is trying to do when it accomplishes such. So thank you, sir, for joining the show. And let's get into it because, man, this episode, tonight's episode was very, very interesting in so many levels, especially with his backstory that I didn't know any of his backstory. Like, I thought he technically was from Austin. He's from Plano, I guess.
Yes. His early years within the bicycling and the triathlon arena was quite a story back then.
Mm-hmm.
As the show alluded to, he was a 16-year-old beating everybody.
I know, like he was destroying them guys, because he said himself, being a Texas boy, you play every sport, and you could tell he just wasn't good at any of them. like until he found swimming, which led to other things.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny as a biker. The one thing that he did say that I thought was really profound that I could relate to was the fact that he said he felt awkward around people because he was so different. And I in high school I won 2 state championships and went on and ran in college and then professionally for Nike and very much the same world, that awkwardness around great athletes in other sports.
Yeah. And it was pretty interesting to see his upbringing, excuse me. That's not his real dad. Like, he didn't know his biological father. And when he said it would be weird to change his last name from Armstrong to Lance Gunderson,
Yeah.
that sounds weird. So,
well, I was, in knowing Lance, I was really kind of surprised because when out and about socially, when he talks about that time in his life, and he talks about the story with his real father, he actually refers to his real father as nothing more than a sperm donor.
I can relate to that. I totally understand that.
I was surprised he didn't say it as open as he was about everything else.
Yeah. And then watching his biological father, was it just me, or did I get a cocky attitude from him, or was that just how I got? Because the way he talked about pushing Lance to be the best and pushing him, he thinks he pushed him too far.
No, that was actually pretty believable because Lance is very defiant.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Lance is very defiant, and that just didn't surprise me whatsoever. I mean, he was defiant. He's been defiant from the word hello.
Yeah. And when I was watching it and just getting his demeanor and stuff, it's just like, this guy is built different. Like, he's one of those athletes that is built different, just like Jordan's built different.
Yeah.
He's built different. Like, you could tell he has that competitive switch like Jordan has, where he wants to be the best. And he holds grudges.
But you know what the difference between him and Mike is?
What's that?
Mike can turn it off. Lance, I've never seen Lance turn it off.
Yeah. I could get that vibe from watching him talk and stuff, and then you could tell, just like Jordan, he's kind of petty, but he holds grudges against people.
Oh, no, Lance does not forget. In fact, a funny story kind of cropped up in my head. I was trying to think of watching it, my more memorable stories, and the one that just sticks out so vividly. A couple years after he left Live Strong, before it was Livestrong, was the Lance Armstrong
Yeah.
foundation, LAF. He tried to buy LAF back from the foundation, and they wouldn't sell it to him. And they had legal reasons why they didn't want to sell it to him, for obvious reasons. And Lance became so pissed that he gathered a bunch of us up, and we all went to the Bo Bikes Bama in Alabama.
Uh-huh.
He had made for us like real Italian silk jerseys, and it was Lance and Friends, LAF.
Wow. That's petty. It's so
Yeah.
many words. That is so petty.
And it was really kind of cool because the night before the ride, Bo has a big dinner, and you pay to get in and that kind of thing. Well, we got there a little bit early, and Lance walks in the room, and yeah, mind you, we're talking Bo Jackson's in this room in the middle of Auburn, Alabama, and everybody flocks to. We're talking grown men flocking back up to their rooms to bring stuff down for Lance to sign. There was a line out the door, but like hardly anybody was talking to Bo. And
Wow.
it was really cool to see him back in his element, so to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't realize, well, so the very beginning of the show, when they started mentioning the lawsuit for USPS, and I didn't realize it was for $100 million, but they only got
Mm-hmm.
5. That's crazy.
Well, there's a couple thoughts on that whole subject. First of all, they spent over $10 million in court and fees and lawyers.
Yeah.
And I've never been a component of the belief that they should have been owed any money due to fraudulent activity on his behalf, because those clowns were making money hands over fist while he was collecting it.
Yeah.
I just have never been a big fan, and I would feel that way about anybody. They profited so much in those 7 years, and they acted like they lost money.
Yeah. All that money, but then it took him 8 years to get to 5 million. I was like, that man has some damn good lawyers. I mean,
Oh,
damn good lawyers. Lance has some really, really good lawyers.
let me tell you, Lance will only do business with very, very savvy people. A lot of the people that they spoke to tonight, I know those cats.
Mm-hmm.
There's some financial savvy cats that just know how to make money, and
Yeah.
have so much money. But he hung. If you were at the bottom of the Dow, you weren't getting his attention. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was I I kind of got a chuckle when the interviewer asked that first question, "How old were you when you started doping?" He's like, "Wow, is that where we go? Is that where we starting at? Is that what we
Well, that
doing?"
was the most. That his response was the most shocking one I saw, because I was, wow, somebody threw Lance off.
Right. He's like, well, okay. He's like, I think 21. I'm like, and then everybody else is like, wow, is that what we're doing right now? Okay, cool. All right. I guess we're gonna go there right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's kind of his style, though. So it was kind of touche kind of moment.
Mm-hmm.
In talking to Lance, I mean, he's very direct. He's always to the point. He's always specific, and he doesn't just talk about the moment. He talks more about the finish line.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just shocked me that he was shocked. I was like, really?
So that was insane. And then just from going there to, of course, beating these pros at their own sport at a young age, and like you said, he's a prodigy. He's a kid in a grown man's world, and just and you could tell he was loving it more and more and more. Like it would just build his confidence and just building that ego on top of it too.
Well, the cancer kind of railroaded that whole story.
Yes.
I mean, in all honesty, his fight back to get where he was at was just utterly incredible. You know what? I take aside all the drugs, take aside all the lying and all the accusations. The fact that he could do the Tour de France after cancer is just amazing in itself.
It
Unfortunately,
really
people
is.
have gotten lost in that story.
It really is, because when the one of the teammates, he said it's like running a marathon every day for 3 weeks. That's a lot. That's next level stuff right there. That's incredible. So
Oh, it's
okay, so
actually,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it goes beyond that. I know what it's like to run one marathon in one day, and
Yeah,
3 later, how I felt.
yeah. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So when they show him after the whole cancer and the chemo, so what surgery did he have on his head? What was that? What was that?
He had it all the way up into his brain. That when the doctor said that they told him he had a 20 to 50% chance of survival, they were lying. They thought he had less than 5% chance of surviving. They only said, and they mentioned it in the show. They only said, up to 50% because they wanted to give him hope.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I remember that part. I was trying to figure out, okay, what the hell was?
Yeah, no, it went all the way in through his lungs up into his brain.
Yeah, those X-rays was like, whoa, like that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's just to be able to walk, let alone bike like that, is an amazing story.
So so the cancer, was that, do you think it was the drugs that caused the cancer, or was something else, or what was it that caused him to get cancer?
To his point, there's just no telling. There really is no telling. I mean, would I venture on the side of yes, the no, probably, but I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you
Yeah,
don't know, and I mean, cancer is just cancer. It's like this virus right now. It's there.
that's crazy. I'm like, because he didn't really talk about it. He's like, hey, I just have cancer. He didn't really mention, hey, I could have gotten this, but I just don't, like, I just have cancer. I'm fit. I'm one of the fittest guys in the
Yeah.
world, and I have it. Like, it's just that's that's mind-boggling to think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people get lung cancer who don't smoke. I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
You never really know. As screwed up as this world is, and how we're so big into replacing natural stuff, you just never know.
hmm yeah. And then on his comeback trail, and so imagine this question, because I know you probably did it, but were you there for the first one? So the um uh for the roses, ride for the roses.
Uh-huh.
Did you ride the first one? Or did you do any of those?
No, no. Up until my foot injury, I had done 9 straight. But I'll tell you what, I did get a chuckle because one of the funniest. I was like, what is my most memorable moment in the in riding the challenges? And it was my first one.
Uh huh.
And it was my first organized bike ride. I wasn't even on a road bike. And I trained and trained for it. And like I said, it was my first one. And I'm coming up. And when you come up on a biker, you always yell, coming up on the left,
hmm
which means coming up on their left side. So
Yeah.
they don't. Well, coming up on the left. It was the first time I got to say that. And I was just so fired up. And I look as I pass it and I double take, and it's Chuck Norris. And I was like, sir, man, let me tell you,
Wow.
those challenges back in the day were a blast because every celebrity in the world was in town to do that ride. I mean, I met Patrick Dempsey, I met Robin Williams. I mean, I met multiple array of movie stars and athletes because of that. Because how Lance would do it is, it's always held the second weekend in October, and that Friday before the ride, for if you raised X amount of dollars or you were within the circle, you were invited to his house for a party. And those parties were, you'd park downtown and he'd charter buses to take you out to his house.
Oh, wow.
And
so was this at the, I guess, the old house that they mentioned in the show? Not the new house?
No, that was his second house. But funny story about that, his first house they mentioned, wife's boss at the time lived right next to him.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because okay, I got you now. That's crazy. So they don't have those rides anymore because I've been out here. I've been in Austin, 16 years. So when was the last time they actually had one of those rides?
Last October. They still have them.
Oh, they still do?
The foundation still does, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess, I say I'm not in the cycling world, so I probably, never hear about it or, mention the kind of deal. So I didn't know they still do them.
Yeah, they still do them. And they still attract a lot of people. Not as many, because like I said, back when Lance was Lance, I mean, that weekend, we literally would house people to just stay at our house, and we'd take them all over Austin and to all the tourist spots and all that. Our house would be full. And I mean, and like I said, there were so many stars around that it just was amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought it was pretty interesting when they was I guess who was it? That was talking. I guess the director for the was it OUC or something?
Oh, Ochowicz.
Yeah, I think it was him talking, and he was mentioning how he was pretty much given I guess not a stereotype, but a stigma on each country, what they're about. Like, the French are like this, and the Germans are like this, and we came to Americans, yeah, they're weird. He said Americans are weird. I thought it was funny.
Well, yeah, because Americans thrive on team sports.
Yeah,
they don't. I mean, you get your Michael Phelps or you get your Lance during his days, but I mean, typically speaking, when you think about America, you think about the Yankees, you think about the Giants, you think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting when he said that, and kind of talked about that a little bit, and then of course that's when homeboy, oh my God, what was that doctor's name? Michelle, Dr. Ferrari? Yeah. Wow. Let's see.
Let me
Like
tell you.
stuff like that, I didn't know anything about. Like that kind of level. Like, wow.
No, they would like Lance would go train in Europe, and like they would go up famous mountains in France, and they would test Lance's blood at certain points and know to what level he had to be at what time. I mean, it wasn't just, people think that doping is just stick the needle in and go. Mm-hmm. No, for different events, there were different volumes that they added at certain times before. I mean, Ferrari is a scientist. He's not a doctor. He is a scientist.
I never thought of it like that. I never thought of it in that mind frame of that. Because when he said the OPs, I'm like, oh my God, that stuff there. That's some intense medicine, some intense drugs to take to, what was it, double your red blood cell count, or triple it, or just?
Yeah, it increases your red blood count, and the more the higher your red blood count, the less air it takes for your body to circulate.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of athletes eat a lot of red meat, because it increases their red blood count, and it's legal.
Ah, I never thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I used to, when I ran marathons, the runner's tradition is to eat spaghetti for more carbs,
Hmm.
eat steak the night before. People thought I was on crack, but I wanted to increase my red blood count, and it was a legal way of doing it.
Wow, that's crazy. And then, of course, and just watching those old interviews of him, talking, he was like 21, 22. And when he mentioned, yeah, I live, he said, what's someone like you doing in Italy, living here? He's like, dude, I, I, I race here 90% of the time. I need to know, I have to be around it, that kind of deal. And you could tell even then he was a little cocky.
Oh, yeah. What I thought was funny about that part is that you walk into Lance's house, and I believe they're going to do a walk through his house next week, and it is full of nothing but Italian art. The house that I'd been to, his second one, was designed by Italy's top architect.
Uh-huh.
Culture.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because I don't know if I told you, I don't know if I did tell you this. When I was an Uber driver for 3 years, and so this had to be now maybe 4 years ago. I remember I went to this guy's house and to pick up these two guys, and so they get in my car. We just kind of talking and chatting. He was like, "Yeah, me and my boy just want to leave. We had to get out this baby shower. We had to get out of here." I said, "Oh, okay, for a friend." He said, "Yeah, a friend of our, like my wife's friend, whatever, is throwing a party at Lance's house." I'm like, "Lance? Like who?" "Yeah, Lance Armstrong. The house he just went to. That's where we at. He was in the pool. We just saw him go to his pool house, whatever, that kind of deal." So what he was telling me was that he stick around for the very beginning to kind of talk to people and that kind of deal. But after a while, he went to his pool house and stayed there for the rest of the night, kind of deal. It's like those guys like, "Yeah, we ready to get out of here." He said, "Yeah, you know, my friend's wife is a friend of Lance's wife, so she wanted to have the party at their house, kind of deal, the baby shower and such." I was like, "Oh, that's okay, pretty interesting." Yeah, so I think the house you're talking about, I've been on the outside of it for Uber. So if it's the same one that I know of, yes, it's a pretty sick house he has now.
Yeah. Funny story about Uber. A funny Lance Uber story. About 2 years ago, he was in Paris for some kind of appearance, and he landed at Heathrow and took an Uber down to this place, and it was on the Champs Elysees.
Hmm.
He got in the Uber, and it was an African, somebody from Africa, had a deep accent, and he's talking to Lance, and Lance isn't he's really not a small talk kind of guy. He likes to be left alone when it comes to that. And the cab takes a left-hand turn onto the Champs Elysees, and the cab driver yells out, "And now the famous Champs Elysees." And Lance is like, "Yeah, I know all about it," because that's the last 8 laps of the tour every year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's
He's like,
funny.
"Yeah, I'm acquainted with it."
So I guess the guy didn't know who Lance was pretty much.
No, he had no clue who he was driving around.
That's hilarious. That's funny. So, but it was pretty interesting tonight to see everything play out for his childhood bringings to teenage years to young adulthood and stuff. And okay, did I hear this right? Or you can let me know. The house he did, the original house on the lake,
Hmm.
um, he's bought it for $200,000. He had it built for 200,000.
Yeah, I'm real familiar. It's up off of Blue Bonnet Road. Um, it's on the other side of the hill, on the other side of the hill where the barbecue joint is, and
Okay.
it's really just kind of hidden and way back there. And at the time, it was undeveloped land, and they were
Yeah.
just developing it. And that was actually really his second house. His first house was actually on Shoal Creek,
Okay.
which is now the Lance Armstrong bike path.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That was really his second house.
Okay.
Um,
So and then
but
did he say he sold it for $2 million?
yeah, yeah, and let me tell you what, it's probably worth about 20 million right now.
Oh, I could imagine. Oh, right now? Oh, yes. And that was back in 2000 when he sold it. And
Yeah,
it was actually pretty cool seeing the bridge over the
yeah,
lake.
Penny Pump.
The what?
Yeah, what's it called? The Penny. Yeah, I know which bridge you're talking about. I know what
Yeah.
scene you're talking about.
The one
Yeah,
down Capital Texas Highway.
yeah, yeah. No, his house was down closer to um, what's the name of that restaurant? It's before the dam.
Not
There.
the Oasis.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. It's close to downtown actually. It'll The restaurant will come to me. Everybody's been there.
Hula Hut?
Hula Hut, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's down by that house is down by the Hula Hut.
Okay. I got you now. Cool. So now, what you was mentioning to me about a story about a jersey?
Oh, well, actually, it tied in with the. I kind of told it already. This is the jersey that he had made for us. Um, Mellow Johnny's is actually his bicycle store in Austin,
Uh-huh. Where's that?
and Mellow Johnny's.
Where's that located? Mellow Johnny's.
It's down there on Nueces and Fourth, and
Okay.
back it's got on the pockets the LAF in between those yellow lines, the Lance.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
But
Lance
we
and
all wore
Grant.
that. We all wore that at the Bow Bike Spam, and that was his big flip off to the foundation because he invited people who were still part of the foundation.
Oh wow, really?
It was a huge statement.
Oh yeah.
It was a statement on our behalf because we always wanted him back, and it really, truth be known, the foundation and the dynamics of the foundation have changed since he left, and I that's why I left because they have gotten away from um, what it was started as.
Yeah.
Before it was started out as how to help people with the here and now, and now it's more about grants and just money, basically
Yeah.
funneling money. And I'm just like, later, fellas. Let me know when you
Crazy.
bring Lance back.
True. So what bar? Because I remember about this, but I don't remember what bar does his friend own? Was it
Okay,
one
well,
of the bars
he owns two bars.
on
Uh,
Sixth Street?
La Manchaca, it's a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
That's the one they were talking about. And he also owns, let me tell you, if you ever want a really good eat, it's an excellent place to go. It's called the East Side Tavern.
That sounds so familiar. Is that on Fifth Street?
Yes.
Okay. I know I've seen that before going down there, just being down there before. That sound when you say East Street Tavern, I've seen that sign before.
Yeah. And, when you walk in, the first time I walked in, I was like, this has Lance written all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just got Lance written all over it. Just the art and everything. But no, College and him are really, really, really tight. Really tight. In fact,
Yeah. You could see it.
my first real race, he had College and Lance teamed up together at the Green. It was called the Green Days ride,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't run it anymore. But they broke the course record combined time and beat the course record that still exists today.
Nice. Yeah, it was pretty interesting when he was mentioned like, yep, here's our routine. Get up, go train, go eat, late, meet some girls, whatever, and go to the bars, drink, do it all over again. Like it was pretty interesting, that kind of he said that's all we did.
And outside the girls, nothing's changed. To be honest,
I believe it.
you should see it. His wine cellar. He's always big about a wine cellar.
Who
And
is Lance? Okay.
Yes, he's every house since the second one. He's always had like a huge, massive wine bar.
I believe it.
The guy loves wine. He loves his vino.
What kind?
Vino. That's
Vino.
Italian for wine.
Wow. That's it. Just tonight's episode was very interesting. It shared blah blah. Can't talk today. It shared a lot of insight on his upbringing to what he becomes and is and that kind of deal and so on. It was really interesting. Like a lot more than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think the next one's going to be a lot more sinister-y.
Yeah,
they're gonna cut into a lot of really negative stuff.
Yes, they are. You could tell this episode was like this all-American boy, the good guy. He had cancer, survived it. He's the all-American story. Yes, next week part 2 is he's the villain. Like he's the big baddie that the people going to just hate. And that kind
a friend of mine that's not too keen about him said, text me during the show and says, your boy's not looking too good. I text back and said, oh, stay tuned. Yes, it's going to get really ugly real quick.
Yes.
He got a bad rap about the foundation. He got a real bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him do so. We can talk about it next week. The things I've seen him do for people affected by cancer, it could only come from the heart.
Yes, and they kind of mentioned that with the they wanted to give the money to or they was thinking about giving the money to American Cancer Association, but it wasn't to what they liking. He felt like they was going to do what's right with the money, so they had to come up with a way to actually do something with the money the right way to help people. So you kind of see that tonight with that.
Yeah, there was a touch, but and I was really glad to see that they covered what the when he got the trophy for his contributions today, because that's the Lance I know.
You mean the one where I guess he was in LA somewhere or DC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Acknowledgement that he for his accomplishments in the cancer subject, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a little underappreciated.
I can see that. It was. I got a little chuckle when was it the baseball players like, dude, why are we going through the back door? What the hell is this crap? He's like, dude, you walk through the front. Just leave it through the front door. We gotta go through the damn behind the alley, past 8 trash cans. He's like, come on, man. Like either you love him or hate him. Just let the man be. Pretty much.
That's the game today. I mean, I love the intro he told the story about 6 years later, somebody called him a fucker for the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, what a way to open up dialogue.
Pretty much. And the guy was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He called the bar. Yeah, tell him it's from Lance with love.
Yeah, no, that's that. I heard that and I'm like, yeah, no, some things just never changed.
Oh no, I thought it was funny. He said, "Do it with love." He said, "Make sure you tell them it's with love." Oh man, that was awesome. That was some good stuff. But overall tonight was a pretty good episode in my opinion on just the rise of Lance, the small little fall he took with cancer, but the story, like people tear you up and tear you down, bring you back up, and tear you down again and bring you back up. It's just it's crazy. And then what the producer said. Yep. From that point on, once he won the first one and started being on TV, it was over. It was over from that point. You couldn't control it.
Yeah, there's just no controlling it. Yeah, but one of my all-time, when he first went down, one of my favorite phrases was, Babe Ruth got to be turning over in his grave, as sinister as he was.
Oh man, good stuff. Good TVs. This will be some good stuff to watch. But yeah, I want to see now the villain side now of Lance Armstrong, because I can see it's going to come out. It's going to come out. It's going to hit us hard. It's going to hit us real hard.
Oh, it's coming. This is the part I was talking about. I'm like, it's about to get, because he is that. This is about as open as I've seen him publicly.
Yeah, and then just him kind of like, from what he said, I'm trying to tell you the truth from what I remember.
Yeah,
I know you remember a lot more than that, but okay, we'll roll with that. Like, I know you remember a lot more, but whatever.
we'll let it slide for now. We'll catch you in the scene
Exactly. But other than that, I think he pretty much covered the whole 2 hours pretty much. That was pretty much everything.
Yeah, I look forward to next week.
Oh, I know, me too. I'm very excited to next week. So, well, guys,
next week I'll actually do it from my cave. I'm actually in my office.
Okay.
And I'll be able to show some of the stuff, some of my personal stuff from and with Lance.
Awesome. I would love to see that stuff. That'd be cool to see. So definitely you guys show it next week and such. Well, guys, that's it for today's video. So nice little chat with my boy Bob here about the inside of Lance Armstrong. And so we finna get it now next week, guys. Next Sunday, we finna get some good stuff next week. But if you guys like this video, give us a thumbs up as you see on the screen right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with other people. And we'll see you next week. So in the words of my baby Zoe, we'll see you next time. Peace.